Hello, hello, my hey, I got something to say, people. I cannot wait to introduce to you my friend Brenda McGregor is in the house. She's actually in a bedroom in a hotel in Florida. Hey, Brenda.
Hello.
So, I was outside this morning talking to my birds, my five cats, my dog, and my squirrel about Brenda coming on the show. And it's freezing cold here in Philly. And all I kept getting is the energy was coming in that I kept twirling in circles. I don't know what that means, Brenda, but I was twirling in circles. So that's what we're all about today. This is my twirling in circle
The
dance for
twirling in circles. Okay, I'm
yeah,
in the circle with you, woman.
yeah. And it might have been because it was windy out. It's all good. So, Brenda, thank you for being here. Where are you? You are in Florida, right?
I am. It's an exciting week. My husband is a head coach of one of the Under Armour teams. There's a Under Armour game this Saturday at 4 o'clock, I think, on ESPN. And
Oh,
he's the head coach of the East Coast team. And so they have all sorts of meetings, and it's all his whole world, which I love to join him. Plus, I thought I could lay by the pool or go on the flume ride, which I can see from my room right now, or go by on the lazy river. Unfortunately, well, when we landed last night, it was balmy and 75 at like 6 p.m. And the temperature dropped almost 30 degrees overnight.
no.
So, so I tried to make my way outside today, and I said, I think I'll wait until it warms up. I'm supposed to get in the 60s and low 70s on Thursday and Friday, but once it
Wow.
does, I'm going to probably rent a cabana and go read a book and enjoy myself while he's in meetings all day.
Good for you. Yeah, I know. I was thinking you were like, it's 80 and 90 degrees there, but
Oh, I wish.
you
I
wish.
wish. But we're in Orlando at a beautiful Marriott, and it's really nice. Very blessed.
Wait, you're in Orlando?
It's where I am.
Wait, aren't you going to go to Disney?
I have considered it, but I wish all my grandchildren were here, and I would definitely go to Disney.
Oh my God, I'll come down and go with you. I love it. I can be like a big kid. We'll take pictures for your grandkids.
I think I'm
I'll
going to
get
go.
the princess on.
I think I'm going to go to that Disney Village where they have all the shops and the.
Oh,
I think
did
I'll go there and get my because they always have characters walking around, and instead of paying the high price of entry to the park.
can you get me a princess hat?
I sure can. What color do you want?
Oh, I want pink.
Pink. Absolutely. You want a crown?
Yeah. Take a crowd. I'll
I'll
take
make it
whatever.
happen. I will make it happen, my
That was a
friend.
Christmas miracle. All right, Brenda, what's your routine? What do you do in the morning to get in that powerful mindset?
Well, and you know this well, my friend, who was also my wonderful coach. I have learned a completely different rhythm than I used to. I wake up more slowly. I give myself the grace. I even get my coffee, but I've learned, when I go down to get my coffee, I do a lot of stretching. I also have, I don't incorporate it every single day, but the breath of joy is a really good breathing exercise. And I will do that in my kitchen while I wait for my coffee to be made. Very important to me just to get some good deep breathing. I also have had some sciatica lately, and I have learned there's specific reliable stretching that I do most often in the shower that
Oh,
helps limit severely any sciatic pain. So those are non-negotiables. And then I have a journal which I write in, and I typically look at my day and determine, is everything I'm doing today aligned with my commitment in the world? Whether it's spending time with my grandkids, whether it's working with my clients, whether it's going to Florida for my husband. Like literally are the is the world I've created for today aligned with what matters most to me? And you've helped me to expand it even further, where I have spent the past year adding, when I look at my calendar, does everything on my calendar bring me joy?
Mm.
And I have done a masterful job of eliminating those things that don't bring me joy.
Mm.
And when you first told me that, I remember thinking, oh, yeah, right. That's not possible. We all have things we don't like to do. But I can attest, as a type A, always busy, always doing, that I have started to fill my calendar with only things that either I'm excited about, I know I'll be satisfied at the end, may not be easy, but I'll be happy that I did it.
Mm.
That's a big, big, big part of my day, setting the tone.
All right, we're going to take a little turn here because I got a lot of questions about this. So let's dive into it here.
Okay.
And I don't know about Brenda, but a lot of my clients, when I teach them, does this bring you joy and whatever, they think I'm a whack job, and they make faces at me, especially the men. And they eventually come around. And there's a point where they say, okay, and this is what they wanted to know from you. Are there things that you go, ooh, that's not going to bring me joy, but once I get through it, I want that and it will bring me joy at the end?
Absolutely. So, everybody that knows me well in the scope, in the world of me being a coach, knows I'm not a big fan of networking. I tend to be an introvert. I'm not the kind that gets energy from engaging with a lot of people. But to your point, I choose that sometimes, even though I'm like, this is not going to bring me the joy that my grandchildren would bring me, or the joy that the DeMatha football players bring me.
Yeah.
When I leave there, I am really happy I did it, because what I've taught myself is, Brenda, just if you talk to three people, you don't have to talk to everyone. And
Mm-mm.
I have learned I talked to exactly who I needed to talk to at those events.
That's a perfect one because there are a lot of people that you think are extroverts and they're not because you see them
No,
on stage, you see them on TV like you. You're like, she's freaking rocks on TV, by the way, guys. You have to check her out. And she
thank
has
you.
her own podcast, which we're going to get into. And they go, oh my God, well, she must just love being around people all the time. And that's so not true for so many people. They're introverted. But I like what you said. When I go in there with the intention of even one or three people, I leave feeling fulfilled. And it does bring me
Yes,
because you do it in a
100%.
way that serves you well.
100%. I honor my natural way of being. Like, I no longer, well, I'm not going to say 100% of the time, but I try to choose what aligns best with me, like what works for me, and not try to force myself because, someone's told me this is what you should be doing. You need to be networking 3 nights a week, and you need to be meeting so many people a day. And no,
Mm-mm.
no,
Good.
no, doesn't work for me. That might work for a ton of other people. It just doesn't work for me.
I don't think it works for a lot of people, Brenda. They feel like it's an obligation and they have to do it. So I'm glad that you said it. But I truly am with you. There's so many ways to be successful, and you should find ones that resonate with you. And I want to keep in mind, because I really want them to hear this. She figured out a way that brings her joy through the networking by telling her if she goes away, talks to three people, it's a success. Correct?
It's a success. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, before we go in, let's tell you a little bit about Brenda McGregor. Is a life and career breakthrough coach, speaker, and host of If Only podcast, where she helps people move past what's been holding them back. With over 30 years as a senior HR executive, she brings both heart and real-world wisdom to personal and professional growth. Brenda is passionate about helping people create a life they love, one choice at a time. All right. So touched on it a little bit, but your power statement when I said, what do you want to say to women around the world and men that support us? You said you don't need to become someone new. You need to remember who you already are. All right, well, hello. We got so many questions. I'm going to sum this up. Well, who should we pick? We'll pick Betty Boot.
Okay.
Dear Miss Brenda. I I'm laughing because she's like superlatives. We're gonna cut those out, Betty Lou. But Betty Lou says, Dear Miss Brenda, I am 48 years old. I have 5 kids. I've gone through 3 husbands. At
Oh,
this point in my she's lived a full life.
I love it.
At this point, she's ready for number 4. Okay.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever known who I am. How? How? That's what she says. That's what I got. How can I find out who I already am, like or are, whatever?
Well, that's a great question, Betty Lou.
I like
And
those
I
two
and
dog
you
sports.
have I know, and you have had a full life. And I'm one of 5, so I know what it's like to be have 5 children or be, and my children are 5, but it's a blended family. I didn't raise them all. Uh,
I'm sure this is a blended family. She's on
yes,
husband number
yes.
4.
So two things come up for me. Is it important to you to know who you are, or are you content with your life? Like, if you're content with where you are and the life that you have, then you may not need that inquiry. It's it's in the dissatisfaction in your life. It's in the areas of life that don't work for you, that you're always searching for happiness or fulfillment or satisfaction. It's in those areas that are nudges of the person you already are that you haven't let be fully revealed.
Oh, I never thought of it that way. So I still want to dive in deeper for remember who you already are.
Okay.
Personally, Brenda, do you like have an exercise that you do every so like once a year or once a quarter? Like, do you put that up and think about it and contemplate it?
Learned and I coach from this area to be an observer of self, like to be such a great observer of self. So I just have an all the time practice of when I notice I'm irritated or I have a persistent complaint about something, or you know how like there have been times in my life where I feel like a raw nerve that is ready to just be mad, like I'm upset waiting to happen.
You
Like
can feel it shaking. You can feel the
oh,
nerve
like
shaking.
I'm ready. I'm ready to like light into somebody. Those to me are all the red flags. Brenda, there's something about you that you're not dealing with, that you either haven't even figured out. Like, why is that thing ready? Why are you ready to pop off about it? Why are you? Because it's something I've either not dealt with, I've not communicated, I've not spoken what's true for me.
Gotcha.
I've tried to be what someone else wanted versus who I really am. Like what kind came to mind for me is I was always told growing up, and I would, I'm an older person. I was in a time where it wasn't as severe as children are seen and not heard, but it was close. And
Mm.
I have always had strong opinions since I was a little girl. I've always been very curious, and I received the message from home and from school, be a good little girl and be quiet.
Ooh.
And and I even remember in my first corporate job going to Wilmington, North Carolina when we took over a hotel, and one of the owners telling me after he had told me, please remind me that we have to go get on the plane. And when I went in to tell him that, he told me, go sit out there like a good little girl until I'm ready for you.
Oh,
Yeah. So I've always had this message that in order to be a good girl, woman, that I needed to be quiet,
ooh,
right? So, but I was always pissed at some level, but I hadn't
yeah.
connected it to this identity that I had, the messages I had received was this is how you're supposed to be. But
Hmm.
it didn't work for me. I had strong opinions. I was curious. I was outspoken. I spoke directly. And I was taught that was wrong. And I believed it. But
Okay.
that other part of me was, this didn't work for me. So I remember when my husband and I, my second husband and I started dating,
Bill too.
Bill too, Coach Bill, that he loved to my opinions. And he would say, oh, I find you fascinating. And I would laugh. I'd be like, wow, this is new and different. And to this day, 21 years of marriage later, that's the thing we love to do the most is talk to each other. But I have revealed who I already am, which was not this version that I was told to be, which was quiet and non-opinionated and
And
be
I
a
think
good.
there's a lot of women that can relate to that and different stories that they've been told. Okay, so let's pause there.
Okay.
When was it before Bill that you start changing that, or did it happen with husband number two?
It happened at the end of husband number two. I had been doing a lot of personal development and I did a seminar and it was mind blowing. And it put me on a path of peeling back all these layers of the onion of this identity that I had created based on what other people wanted or stories I told myself. This is the way you should be.
Yeah.
Um, and once I started that, I was with Bill number one, and I'll never forget when I had a conversation with him, and he and I had been together 20 some years. Great guy. I mean, just a great guy, the father of my only child I gave birth to. He looked at me and he said, what are you, friggin' Gandhi now?
Because it was like, who's this
who,
Brenda?
who is this woman? Right. But and I always come back to this because nobody can give you this. You have to give it to yourself. So for Betty Lou, the question would be, are you happy with your life? Are you happy with the results you have? And if you're not, that's where you start looking within. What is it about me where I'm not fully self expressed or I haven't said what I really want to say to others? Or what have I not dealt with? What am I not complete with? And so I'm doing that all the time, like observing. I have a call I'm going to have with somebody in my family later today because I know I was a nerve and I acted out because I wasn't being who I really wanted to be and saying what I really wanted to say. So it's not like it's solved. I'm not like this.
An ongoing process. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to make sure they really get this. You did the work. It wasn't like all of a sudden, ba bam. Like
No.
you
No.
you did the
No.
work.
No, and I read about people that read a book or see a movie or something, and then they have these big aha moments. That's never been me. I've had to do the work of looking within. Okay, Brenda, what is your belief system that no longer serves you? But other people can get it in other ways. They don't have to do it the way I did it.
Okay. So they might get it like you. Oh, I saw a movie. Now
And
I,
I had an epiphany. I had an epiphany. Oh my God.
okay.
Yes.
Yes, but I'm going to put it and. But even if you have the epiphany, which is great, awareness, hallelujah, you still need to do the work. It doesn't usually, I don't know anyone it just resolves. Like you're still ongoing behind the scenes, have to do the work. And some do it more than others. And somebody like you, which I think is the most rewarding, it really is about you. It's not about them. Yes, they're acting this way, but like you said, you know you acted in a certain way, and that's because you weren't really speaking your truth and you just the nerve went off.
100%.
Now, as I tell people, it doesn't mean they're not a mean person or they're not a selfish person or they're not an untrustworthy person. They may be, but like how you react to it and draw them in your life. That's the
Right.
key. And
Right.
you constantly are reflecting upon how you could show up differently. Just
Right. And I don't want to repeat anything that you and I've ever talked about before, but the biggest example I can give
oh, repeat away, repeat away.
is when I was in the corporate world and I related to the people outside of me, my bosses, as they were the bad guys. If only they were different, then they would appreciate me and I would be more successful and get a promotion and all the things that I believed I deserved, which I did. I was really good at what I did.
Of course you were.
But once I shifted, okay, who are you being, Brenda, in the face of that?
Yeah.
And really I had a great mentor in the corporate world that helped me see it. And I was doing my own work. And when I recognized that all of that over there with them was all my insecurities, if I felt truly confident in who I was and what I was doing, they could have said and done anything. It wouldn't have, it would be like Teflon.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
so what? They think that, they said that.
Let
Doesn't
them be
mean a
angry. Let them
darn
be
thing
this.
about me.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean anything about me. I'm the one who's allowing it because I haven't done my work to really know who I am
Yeah.
and that I am really valuable and that I know the value I bring to the corporate world. So the example I give, great people know how to run a business, but many times I'd go in a boardroom and these guys I would present an idea and they'd roll their eyes, laugh at me, and that would just take me down. Like it
It would
just,
take most people down, and it would take a lot of people down. Yeah.
but once I did my work and got fully present to my own value, I'd go in those same meetings, same people, same response, laugh, roll their eyes.
Yeah.
Didn't even bother me.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, well, that's just them being them. I'm going to continue to voice my opinion, and sometimes there'll be a yes, and sometimes there'll be a no. It isn't a reflection on me and my value.
That is so important. And Brenda, I'm so glad you mentioned that because I've been doing a lot of workshops at different board meetings. And when I go into them, I'm like, Holy Mother of God. And what you said, I want everyone to hear because it's so important. Once you did your work and you knew your value and you knew what you were bringing to the table, I want you to hear what she's saying. It didn't, she was like, oh my God, that's just Bob being Bob and Joe being Joe. And it rolled off your back.
Totally. Now, that's not to say that there weren't times that I then had to set a boundary, that there were certain things I didn't accept. And that's true in personal relationship too. Like I have learned, I'll just say, oh, that's just Bill being Bill, even though it might get on my nerves, but it's Bill being Bill. But that doesn't say that if he were to cross a boundary that didn't work for me, that I don't reset the boundary for him. Because I get to say what I have in my life. I
Can
get to
you explain
say,
that more? Because people have been saying they're really confused. Everybody keeps saying set a boundary. And so many people are like, I don't even know what people are talking about anymore. So I want you to explain that.
well, I'm going to speak really honestly. I have the youngest son that we became legal guardians of in high school. He's a wonderful young man, love him with all our heart, but he tends to have a lot, and it's much better now, but for a period of years, a lot of drama that he would call me with, or he would bring it in my space. And I felt obligated as his mom to listen, and it would leave me not able to sleep, stressed out that he's going to get hurt or hurt someone, and it was impacting my health, my mental well-being. And what I learned with Jeff, who I love with all my heart, is I had to set a boundary with him. And it wasn't telling him what to do. That's what people think, that it's telling other people, you can no longer do X. You are never allowed to do Y. No, what the conversation I had with Jeff was, Jeff, you can do whatever you want to do in your life, and you can have all this extra, what I call drama. I get to say whether I want to listen to it.
That's the boundary.
That's the boundary. It's not what I would say making him wrong about having a life like that. He can live his life however he likes. I don't want him to feel judged about that. He can live his life however he wants, but I get to say what I allow in my space. And the irony is, now when I talk to him, he'll say, do you have any space for this? And I'll say, let's see how far we get. And
Yay, Mom! That's awesome.
I know. And he's also learned to do the same in his life. He says he sets boundaries with other people in his life.
See?
Yes, I know.
You do it, it impacts him, and then it trickles on. I say it differently. Is it the same? Because people always see me saying this, like, I don't care where you're spinning, but I don't want to spin there with you. I want to stay.
I love that.
Yes.
It's exactly that.
Go forth, conquer. You want to spin over there? Cool.
Love you. I'm happy. Do what you need to do.
But I'm spinning over here.
Bring it over here.
Okay. I got you. Now I understand a little bit more. Mm-hmm. All right. We really got to, I knew this was going to happen. We're going to run out.
I know. I love
That's this. Okay, because this is so valuable. And Brenda, you're brilliant at breaking it down that everyone can understand some difficult concepts. That's why I don't, want to brush over it. And I keep re-saying it, because you take subject matters that are very complicated and go, wait a minute, I can apply that to my life. So you should. If only. Huge. Okay, so how I met Brenda. I believe it was at a conference in Philly that she was speaking at, and you were handing out those awesome cards and talking about if only.
Yes, my cards. I brought some for these football players this week,
which we're going to get into.
Yeah.
But one of your tips, we're not going to get into all of them, but that's okay. But I want to get into the ones that the people haven't heard. And this name, the if only, when you feel stuck, complete this sentence. If only I blank. Tell us more about that. And how did you come up with it?
That's a good question. Well, I think my commitment was based on my own life experience. When I started coaching and when I started my podcast, I knew that I had spent my life saying, like I said earlier, if only these men were more receptive to me, then I would get a promotion. Then I would be happy.
Oh, snap.
Okay. Right. And so I took that life experience, or like I could look at, different relationships. If only my husband would clean this, put the dishes in the dishwasher more properly. We women were so, at least.
So that could be an if only? Oh, yeah. Okay.
If only. Now, in general, the if onlys that are highlighted on my podcast and that I deal with my clients isn't something small like the dishwasher, but it's more if only they were different, pointing out they are similar to what we talked about, or if only if only I had more money, Only I had a better education. Then I would be happy. Like
Gotcha.
waiting for
Gotcha.
that thing outside you to shift, as though it's a way of giving away your power.
Are they shocked by their if onlys when they start writing them down? Like, are any of your clients like, oh crap, I didn't know that was in me?
Well, it's interesting because most of the people that, well, my clients, if we're talking about my clients, yes,
Yeah.
it's a blind spot they don't see. They don't see it as it's not real. They see it as hard and unmoving. If
Ooh.
if only my husband, I'm just going to use one of my clients, if only my husband spoke to me more respectfully, then we would have a better relationship.
And I get that.
I do too. And I'll just use this client as an example. They did everything that I think most of us would do to try to get her husband to speak more respectfully. She would threaten. She would try to sit down and calmly talk to him. She would do all the things that we think will make a difference over there. But this is another example of a boundary. So, what I coached her to do, and which was effective, it took a while though, I'm going to be honest,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you are retraining a human being that you've had a dance with,
yeah.
is saying, having a calm conversation. This is what I advised her. Sit down and maybe go to lunch somewhere. Sit calmly, say, I'm just letting you know, going forward, if you choose to speak to me disrespectfully, even if you judge it's not, because that was part of the problem. This isn't disrespect.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you're going to yell or curse or do whatever, I will leave the room, or I will leave the restaurant we're eating in, or I will get out of the vehicle. I will, I'm not going to ask what she had been doing was tell him he had to leave. He had to, no.
Yeah, I got you.
So she had to be resolute to create that strong boundary. And it took about 6 months because she recognized he was holding on tight to that.
Mm.
But he no longer speaks to her disrespectfully because she stuck to her guns.
That's
She got out of cars and took an Uber home. She would leave the house, even when it was a pain in the butt that she had to drive at 9 o'clock at night somewhere. But she was clear, my self respect is too important. And I am going to be clear with him. This can no longer continue. Now, that's one case. Now, I know there are women, I have to say that deal with abusive people that could harm them. So that is a whole different world.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But again, it's going back to what you said at the beginning. She's not he making him change. You want to be this way?
Absolutely.
It's like hanging up the phone on your son. Like, nope, I'm not listening to it. I'm leaving. End result, he doesn't do it.
He doesn't do it. And I'm not saying that that's going to work for everyone.
No, but it's worth a shot.
It's worth a shot. And it gets you really present to who you already are, which is someone deserving of respect, not
And
having to beg for it or argue about it or make your point. You should treat me better. No, you know that. You don't need to convince someone else. And your job is to create the very thing that you see missing over there, which was lack of what's missing is his respect of you. Where is your respect of yourself that you allow yourself in that space?
so, Britta, I do want to make sure we get to one of the points about Barbie.
Okay, go ahead.
but I got no, these are gems because I got because of the holidays. When we're filming right now, we just got off the holidays, so I got inundated with relative questions
Oh, yes.
with Thanksgiving and Christmas, and it's the same thing over and over again. We'll pick I'll call her Sally. Sally loves her relatives. She loves her in-laws, but whenever they talk about how grandma should be handled or grandpa should be handled, the brother-in-law always gets really angry. And there was all different types of questions like this that they don't know how to leave a family gathering when somebody is being angry and it's reflected upon them. So they wanted advice. So for this one specifically, Thanksgiving dinner, Uncle change his name. Uncle John gets really angry of how they're going to treat grandma who has Alzheimer's and starts yelling at her. And the
At
family
grandma or at
at
this
Sally
group?
Bell.
Okay.
And so this is so long, but basically he yells at Sally Bell. And so she got up, didn't want to sit there and listen at Thanksgiving dinner. And she said, I walked out and now the whole family won't talk to me. But I don't want to be spoken to that way. I'm just trying to help their grandma who has Alzheimer's. So summing it up, and I heard this over and over again, people are like, yeah, I'm not going to do that anymore. And so this uncle's yelling, screaming at her because of her opinion on how to handle grandma with Alzheimer's and cussing. And she gets up and leaves. And now the family thinks she destroyed Thanksgiving dinner and nobody will talk to her.
That's horrible. I'm so sorry.
He said, please, 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 please help Brenda. And I know what she's saying, like, because people are like, no, 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 I've been there before. Keep the peace, just ignore it, let them do that. But that's a tough one.
That's a very tough one. So there's a couple things I hear. One, she, Sally Bell,
Yep.
and the brother-in-law
We'll call
have
him
a
John.
huge commitment to this grandmother that has Alzheimer's.
Yep.
Whenever you have that much energy around something, underneath it is a huge commitment. And it's usually driven by fear. Like there's fear, and I'm sure is the brother-in-law related to the grandmother?
Yes.
Yes. So there's that whole dynamic of fear that for his mother, fear, all of that is playing part. And we all know that there are people that are not very emotionally mature.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to control their emotions. And so it
I
comes
am.
out right. Now in saying all that, that doesn't mean you have to continue the status quo.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the first thing I would ask her to look at is like, look at your commitment. Like, is there some compromise that can be reached before Thanksgiving? Like a family meeting where everybody can throw their ideas and,
Mm.
and listen from a place of we're all committed to her being okay. We just
Yeah.
have different ways to what my husband would say, skin the cat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and because ultimately what I've learned, most human beings are really good-hearted and but they have very strong opinions about things
Yeah. And you're
and
right.
how it
Especially
should
when it's your
go.
mom or your grandmom, it's your relative. The emotions are running high, man.
They're running very high, very high. And to give them grace and to give yourself grace. Like if what I have found in my own experience, when I feel fully heard, the emotion goes away.
Mm. It's true.
So when she feels fully heard, even though they maybe not agree with her, then it softens the whole experience. The same for the brother-in-law. Like giving him the experience of being fully heard about what he believes is the right path.
Yep.
And that tends to take away, and it's not necessarily saying my dad was the best at this. My father was so good. I could vent to him for, like, I wasn't allowed to go to some party because you're too young and there's a lot of older kids there. And I vented all my anger and upset to my dad, and he listened to every word. And I knew my dad got me. He
Mm.
still didn't let me go to the party. But I felt honored and respected and heard.
Yeah.
And that's what she could start bringing
Mm.
for herself and for others, to let them have an experience of being fully heard, even if he doesn't get what he wants at the end. But he will feel like, I have been honored, respected, and heard.
I gotcha. So to generalize, if the uncle, and they didn't do that, and you're in a situation and the uncle, whomever, is flying off the handle and she leaves, I can see how the family was upset and it disturbed the dinner. But I understand wanting to leave.
I do too. I totally get it. It's a way to remove herself, like I talked about with the husband and wife. I would have her look within, because that's where all our power lies, not out there with him or the rest of the family who doesn't agree with what she did.
Yeah.
And really say to herself, if I had to do it over again, what other choices were available to me in that moment?
Yeah.
Now, she may come to the same choice,
Yeah.
because I don't think she's wrong. But in looking at it and what she's committed to, is there any other choice that was available to her?
Maybe not leaving Thanksgiving dinner totally, just going outside for a bit,
Like, maybe just saying, look, I get you have a lot of emotion around this,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to sit here and be yelled at.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm going to go in the other room.
Yeah. Go in the other room. Don't go
And
home.
once you're calm, I've had to say this to people in the corporate world. Once you've calmed down, I'm happy to talk to you, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and be yelled at.
Yeah. I think that's very helpful. You're right.
Okay, good. Okay,
Really helpful. All right, let's
good.
get to this last one because it's not something I've had on the show. I don't know, maybe ever, about borrowing somebody else's belief system.
Oh, yes.
I love this one. So hold on a second because I want to pull up some questions. I got so many freaking questions about this. It's crazy. And it's ingenious. Borrow belief when needed. When self-doubt shows up, ask, what would someone I love this. It's so simple, but so powerful. What would someone who believes in me say right now? Then act from there. So they want so many examples of how to do that.
I love it. And it is easy once you start to really look, because we all have self-doubt. First and foremost, there's no one that I know, if they say they don't have self-doubt, they're full of crap. They
Yes, they
just
are
aren't.
full of crap.
And and there's always those negative thoughts. Most of the time, those thoughts that run in our head are not boosting us up, telling us how wonderful we are.
Nope.
But there are people in our life that think we're the greatest thing since sliced bread, in one way or the other. You're one for me. My son Bill is one for me. My husband Bill is one for me. They think I know if I ever express myself doubt, they're like, you're crazy, blah, blah, blah. You've done that.
Yeah.
So, what I do when I'm in that hole of self doubt, and sometimes it can be deep, I think, okay, what would Sandy say to me right now? Sandy would say, Brenda, let's look at everything you've accomplished. Let's look at the impact you've had on people. And then that can raise me up out of that dark hole of self doubt. And the same with my husband. My husband thinks, I mean, he's just my biggest champion. And like, just while we were here, I said something about, I feel like I look old, honey. He says, "Oh my God, Brenda, you've been saying that since I met you. Nothing's changed."
You really? That's so
Oh,
fun.
yeah. And he makes me laugh and takes me out of that
Yeah,
self-doubt
yeah.
because he's right. It's always been a worry of mine. And I've always been focused on, oh my God, I look old. And so it's simple stuff like that. Like look for those people that are your cheerleaders and what would they say about you? What
I
would
got
they,
it.
yeah. Hmm.
So, okay, I fibbed. I got to get this one in because
Okay.
that went quicker than I thought, but now I got it. It's really resonating.
Okay.
Now I know. What would Brenda say? What would my husband say? So honor your word to yourself. Start with one promise you know you'll keep. Integrity builds confidence faster than perfection. Give me an example of somebody that said they were going to do something and then they didn't honor. They want real life examples with this one.
Oh, this is an easy one.
Oh, good.
So I do live my life as best I can. I'm not perfect with it. But if I say this is who I am, like my foundation is of I am a loving, warm, giving person who loves unconditionally. Okay. And that is kind of my benchmark. That's who I say I am. Nobody told me that's who I am. That's who I say I am. So
Okay.
then I have to look across my life. Where am I not that? Me being my observer, right? Like I observe there are times that I'm not that. Well, then I got to clean that up because I
Can you
say
say
that's
that
who I
one more
am.
time? So you say to yourself, I am, go through it again.
I am loving, warm, kind, generous, and I love unconditionally.
Okay.
And if I show up in a room and I'm dismissive to someone or chilly or cold or not welcoming, then when I get home or in that moment, I have to say, Brenda, you said you're that. Like
I got
that's how I want to be known. I want to leave a room and people say, oh, she was really warm and welcoming. And I did not feel judged by her.
I gotcha. Well, that's powerful.
Yes, but it's who I say I am. Nobody told me that. And that's been part of my journey. Now, I'm not perfect at that. And I can go back to Jeff. Jeff did some things that I had always told him what I've told all the kids. No matter what you do, I will love you unconditionally. I will always love you no matter what. Well, he did something, and I made a decision. This is years ago. I wasn't going to talk to him because I
Mhm.
was so angry with him. And I went about 9 months. And I said, if he wants to talk to me, he can call me, but I'm not calling him.
Okay.
And I thought it was good for him to have his mother not talk to him, that I was making clear how I felt about his choice. Well, I did some of my own work again, and it hit me in the face. It was a blind spot. Wait a minute. Didn't you say you love people unconditionally? And didn't you tell him since he was 15 and came in your life that no matter what you do, I will love you? And I had to clean that mess I made up with him and apologize because I had promised him, no matter what, I will love you. But by withdrawing for 9 months and not speaking to him, that was not loving him. That was judging him and trying to change him. If I say I love unconditionally, then I love unconditionally.
So then going back to, because I want to make sure that I'm clear on this, setting the boundaries is there's a difference. Like, okay, you didn't have to not talk to him for 9 months, but it doesn't mean if he's in that energy, negative energy, you have to listen to,
And be part of it and
yeah,
be involved in it.
match
I
the boundary, but still loving unconditionally. but you also set the boundaries.
100%.
Okay. Because that's a big one for them, the big one.
You have to have boundaries and what works for you. Like I literally do it all the time. Like I don't want this person's energy in my space, but I don't, that's just who they are.
Yep,
And,
I got it.
but I'm not going to put myself in that space.
That was huge that you did that. Huge.
And it has brought me so much more peace of mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
I talk to him, once or twice a week and love him dearly. And I will never, I've told him if I ever go into that judging space, I need you to call me on it.
Mm. Whoa. I don't think I knew that story in depth. And for people out there, I think it's really important to hear what you're saying because I know a lot of people have problems with their kids.
Yes.
And cut them out. And the difference is the way you handled it. It's beautiful. Like, I'm not cutting you out, but I'm also not going to, what I say, spin there with you. But
Right.
I'm not judging you. I will love you unconditionally, but I'm not going to feed into that, which is great for you and them.
Yes. And the only thing I'll add, I've had clients that on paper, you can see why they want their child to be different, or they want them to have
Of course.
made better choices or be in a different job. Or what I've had to learn is just to accept people the way they are, that this is their journey, that it may not look like I want it to look. It may not be
Yeah.
aligned, but I've also learned it isn't about me. It's about them. This is
Yep.
their journey. And then you add into it all the boundary setting but
Yeah.
yeah.
I want to make sure because I know I'm going to get so many questions about that last one. I want you to make sure I'm hearing it right. It's really difficult to see your child making choices. It could be alcohol, it could be drugs, it could be with someone that's mistreating them, live that life. It's really
Really
difficult.
hard.
But you can only do, as a mother, like you said, I'm going to love them unconditionally, be there to guide them. I can't choose their journey, their path.
No, no. And that doesn't mean you give up on them
Hell
or
no.
you or that you don't still support them. Like there's certain ways that we've continued to support all our kids that especially when it comes to their health and well-being. We
Yeah.
want to make sure we I mean, some people have to go the full tough love, like complete certain situations that are dangerous for you. That's totally different experience. You have to protect yourself, your physical well-being. Um, but you can come to a peace. I mean, that's the goal ultimately, to be at peace with your choice of loving your child. And sometimes it has to be from afar, that you cannot be loving them and be integrally involved with them because your peace is very important and it you need to be clear with what works for you.
My dear Brenda McGregor, you are definitely a gift to so many.
Oh,
So
you're so nice.
you are. And your family, your friends, the football team. There's so much more we could talk about. Your clients, God, are they blessed?
Thank you.
But before we tell them where they can find you, look you up and listen to your podcast and hire you to be their coach and do workshops and speaking engagements, is there anything we didn't get? We went over a lot. I mean, there's a lot of wisdom in here. If they even took one, it would be mind blowing. But is there anything we didn't get in that you want to say before we wrap it up?
Mm, I think I just the overarching message of really tapping into what brings you joy and what makes you happy, what's important to you, looking at that and saying, I'm going to start small. I have a sister, Teresa, that she's 4 years younger than me, and she started doing watercolors a couple of years ago, and she's really good. I mean, she's got a gift, but she didn't start till she was over 60. But she started to really look what's important to me. Or
Ooh.
she's now doing volunteer work at the SPCA, that animals are important to her. That she gave herself permission to explore what's really important to me.
Hmm.
That's what I would leave people with. Really ask yourself, what's really important to me? And is it present in my life? And then if it's not, find a way to make it present.
Yeah, even if it's just a little bit, like you said, she started watercolors in her 60s.
Right, right.
I love that. All right.
Yes.
How can they
All
find
right. What?
they find you?
Oh, well, it's brendamcgregor.com is my website,
Okay.
or you can email me at bmcgregor.coaching@gmail.com. And I hope to hear from you.
My people, you heard that. She wants to hear from you. And come on, even this little bit of time you spent with her, you know you need her as a coach. You
Oh, thank
like,
you,
there's no
Cindy.
doubt. I mean, just the way you approach everything. It is practical and it is from the heart. So my hey, I got
Thank
something
you.
to say, people. Come on. I love you. Thank you for supporting me all those years. And it's going to be a freaking awesome 2026. I can't wait to see what it brings. I got my joy necklace on.
Yay.
Share, rate, like it. What else do you have to do? Oh, yeah, subscribe. I keep forgetting that part. I love you guys. Brenda, I love you. Have fun in
Love
Florida.
you.
I hope you get a little bit of sunshine. I'm sending you.
Thank you.
And until next time, you know what I'm going to say. Thank you, Brenda, and toodles.
Toodles.